Hey, what's happening? What's happening, everybody? This is that boy Rick Titus. That boy Rick Titus with Exquisite Podcast. We're gonna let some people catch up with us. Let some people catch up with that boy Rick Titus. We're gonna let some people catch on in and climb on in. Listen, I don't know if you've seen this video ad on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Wherever you seen this video at, share this video. Share this doggone video. Share this video. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about this Exquisite Podcast. We're going to talk about these Exquisite Podcasts. I'm in the studio right now as we speak. I'm right here in the studio right now. So, you guys, I want you guys to pay attention. Pay attention. I don't know why we're making this thing so difficult. So difficult to get done. We got some great things getting ready to happen at Exquisite Podcast. We're located at St. Charles Town Center Mall in Waldorf, Maryland. That's where we're located at. Listen, you guys want to get your podcast done? You guys want to get your podcast screened? Come and see that boy. Come and see that boy, Rick Titus. I'm in the studio right now as we talk. I'm in the studio right now. So talk to that boy. Talk to that boy, Rick Titus, with this Exquisite Podcast. Exquisite Podcast. I know some people out there got something that they want to say. I know some people out there got something that people want to hear. So come and talk to me. Come and talk to that boy, Rick Titus. You don't even have to be in the studio to get your podcast done. Check that out, family. Family, you don't even have to be here in the studio to get your podcast done. This is one of the things that we're doing at Exquisite Podcast. At Exquisite Podcast, this is one of the things that we are talking about and that we are doing at Exquisite Podcast in Waldorf, Maryland. Right here in Waldorf, Maryland. So come and see that boy. Come and see that boy, Rick Titus. Listen, I'm just in the studio right now. I'm in the studio right now so we can go ahead and get some things popping. We can go ahead and get some things popping right here. Listen, guys, listen. If you got something that you want to say, if you got something that you want people to hear, come and see me. Come and let Rick Titus do the heavy lifting at Exquisite Podcast. Come and see me. Come and see that, bro. I'm in the studio right now as we talk, right here in Waldorf, Maryland, at the St. Charles Town Center Mall, right around the corner from J.C. Penney. So come and talk to that boy, Rick Titus. If you want a podcast screen, if you don't have the camera, you don't have the markup, you don't have the backdrop, you don't have that panel, you don't have the location, let that boy Rick Titus do all the heavy lifting for you. Let that boy Rick Titus do all of the heavy lifting for you to get your podcast screened. Screen your podcast. You can talk about entertainment. You can talk about sports. You can talk about health and wellness. You can talk about baby showers. You can talk about family talk. It's a whole lot of subject, health and wellness. It's a whole lot of information that you can talk about when you're doing your podcast at Exquisite Podcast. Talk to that brother Rick Titus. And listen, guys, we got some pastors out there. We do ministry. We can scream your ministry as well. We can scream your ministries as well. This is what we can do. If you're a pastor and you got a pastor, a lot of pastors out there got a lot of things that they can talk about. A lot of pastors out there got a lot of things that they can talk about and that they can share with that information to individuals that they can touch out there. So you pastors out there, you don't have to have a location. Let that boy, Rick Titus, be your locator. Let that boy, Rick Titus, be your locator. I'm talking to some of you guys that's out here I'm out here in the studio right now. I'm in the studio right now. So, this is the thing, guys. This is what I'm trying to get everybody to come out and support that boy Rick Titus with this Exquisite Podcast. Come out here and support that boy Rick Titus with Exquisite Podcast. I'm in the studio right now as we talk right now. So you pastors, you got something that you want to say, You got some, look, a lot of you pastors out there got some great material. A lot of you pastors got some great material, but nobody knows you. Nobody is seeing you. Nobody is hearing you, pastors. So let us scream your ministry. We already got a couple of ministries already on board with Exquisite Podcast. So let that boy Rick Titus uplift you and let us scream your ministry. Yeah, talk to that boy Rick Titus with Exquisite Podcast. This is Exquisite Podcast. Talk to that boy Rick Titus. So we can go ahead and get your podcast, we'll get your ministry screaming. Technology is where it's at, guys. Technology. Listen, if you're not on that AI train, then you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a big problem if you're not on that AI train. If you're not on that AI train, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. You are going to have a big problem trying to get your information out there. So if you want to get your information out there, come to Exquisite Podcast. Exquisite Podcast in Waldorf, Maryland. We're not hard to find. We're at the St. Charles Town Center Mall in Waldorf, Maryland, right around the corner from J.C. Penney's. Right around the corner from J.C. Penney. I was talking to a young guy over the weekend. He said, Mr. Titus, I don't know what to say. I want to do a podcast, but I don't have any material. I said, you got some material, young man. You can talk about sports. You guys love sports. You can talk about that. Who's your favorite team? Talk about them. Do your research on your team. They got this thing called Google. They got this thing called YouTube. They got this thing called ChatGPT. So you can find the information. There is no excuses out here today. Not with all of this technology that they got going on out here, family. Not with all of this technology that they have displaying out here today. So get your information together and then come back and see me. Come back and see me so we can get your podcast screamed. So we can start screaming your podcast. So you can start doing something productive in the community. Huh? Yeah, that's this boy Rick Titus at Exquisite Podcast. That's what I'm talking about. This Exquisite Podcast. So come and see that boy. Come and see that boy Rick Titus. I'm in the studio right now as we talk, so we can go ahead and get this podcast up and popping. And you ministries and you pastors out here, we can scream your ministries. We can scream your ministry at Exquisite Podcast. We located in Waldorf, Maryland. Everybody in the DMV know where Waldorf, Maryland is located at. So come and see. We got an 8,000 square foot. This is an 8,000 square foot facility. So if you want to get your podcast screamed, you want to get your ministry and your pastor, your ministry screaming, get in touch with that boy Rick Titus with Exquisite Podcast. Hey, listen, who said it couldn't be done?